2 months ago, a typical day for me would look a bit like this. Get up at some ungodly hour, get in the car, look forward to a nice drive, but then hit some traffic, even if you got up really early, hit more traffic, arrive at work still really early, looking like death. And now instead it looks like this. Sunny bus stop, rainy bus stop, bus arrives, doors open, do the pating, other people pating, sleepy, bus ride bumpy, wakeful again, deepating, watch for the cyclists, wavy walking, corridor walking, straight walking, and then coffee. 2 months without a car, without an electric car. What do I miss? And what's the context for that? Let's talk about it in this video. One of the good things about change is questioning what you took for granted. And actually, I took for granted that my life was car-based, that I had a kind of car culture life, electric car culture life, and everything I did kind of revolved around that. And as it turned out, I think by the time that I was selling my IONIQ Electric in the UK, I was basically going everywhere by electric car. The kind of zero tailpipe emissions nature of the car meant I didn't feel particularly guilty about that. It was very cheap to run and it was extremely enjoyable to drive. It had room for the family, it had room for luggage, it had room for moving things. And the amount of walking I was doing was just decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. And UK weather is not great and cycling infrastructure is bad and public transport is bad. So I was just driving everywhere. At the same time, I was kind of gaining a little bit of weight. I'm in my mid-40s. That was kind of happening. Now I've had the opportunity to be without an electric car for 2 months. It enables me to think more clearly about what do I miss. What is it about an electric car specifically that appeals to me? What do I miss then? I think it's quite a few things. So it's kind of comfort, being able to go around with relative ease without sort of physical effort. I miss the convenience of being able to go wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go, with family or without. And I miss the kind of shelter aspect of it, walking around or cycling around or going on public transport, particularly when the weather is quite variable here. Like they get rain while the sun is actually physically shining in your face. I miss being able to travel around and being dry. It's quite likely here you're going to get soaked in a downpour. They call them cloud bursts, these sudden blasts of rain in the summer even. And yet winter hasn't even started, autumn and winter. So yeah, I'm going to miss that kind of shelter aspect. And driving the rental Renault Zoe recently really made me realize that I miss the IONIQ Electric's dynamics. Now, the dynamics of the IONIQ Electric are not up there with, say, a performance Tesla Model 3 or, BMW convertible and so on, like I've driven and shown in previous videos. But still, it's a serious cut above something like a Renault Zoe in terms of stability and just responsiveness. And regardless of the electric car, Zoe or anything else, I really miss the responsiveness and the agility and the immediacy of the kind of electric drive characteristics that you don't get in any kind of petrol or diesel car that I've ever driven. And that, the physical sensation of that, the kind of mental stimulation of something being so responsive and agile and just, feeling right and feeling great. I do miss that, actually. I miss driving. I miss the characteristics of driving, the joy of driving, the particular joy of driving an electric car. I wasn't sure that I would, but I do miss that. So now let's get to the things that I don't miss. I don't miss worrying about something being sat outside, parked outside that might get damaged by, accidental damage, crime, theft, other things like that. I don't miss having to insure a large lump of metal on wheels to safeguard myself and other road users. I don't miss the huge sunk cost. I don't miss the ongoing finance, the ongoing commitments, repairs and other liabilities. I never had anything like that with the IONIQ Electric, but you could be sure that they're coming down the road, even if it's just replacing tyres, brake pads, brake discs, suspension over time, shocks, that kind of thing. It's all coming, even if it doesn't come straight away on an electric car. I don't miss kind of worrying about where to park. Actually, one of the things I've been doing here when I'm still thinking about this 1 month mini lease on a Zoe, I realise I've been doing quite good preparations for if I do get any kind of electric car again, because I've been thinking about how to charge it at home or where to be able to go to charge it. And I've been scoping out charging near work and finding out about the parking conditions there. And the good news is parking at work is free and there's lots of different sites to choose from, but there's no electric car charging. But there are some charging points nearby, but they're likely to go early in the day. So that's going to be another factor to think about if I can't charge at home or conveniently nearby. Yeah, that's something I don't miss worrying about, is kind of where to charge. I didn't have to worry about that at home with my IONIQ Electric because I planned for that, I prepared for that, and it was our house, so I could do what I want in terms of installations of the electric vehicle supply equipment. But now I've got to research that more broadly, and I don't miss that at all, really. And weirdly, in spite of the car's value as a kind of status symbol, I don't miss owning such a big thing, a big expensive thing. I was watching EV Puzzle's video this morning about him cancelling his MG EV order, And a lot of his concerns there relate to money. He was hoping to kind of save money by downgrading from a car that was appreciating to a cheaper car. But it's still an expensive car. I mean, mid-20,000 is still expensive. That's still a big investment, and it's still enough to make you think about, what am I actually getting into here? What are my liabilities in terms of depreciation, warranty claims, that kind of thing. I don't miss all those kind of worries, but I guess if I get an electric car again, have to be thinking about that. The situation is going to change because my family is going to get here, and then it's going to be really interesting to see, can you live without a car with a family here and do the kind of things we want to do? Myself, just mainly commuting back and forth work and to friends, that works. That works fine for me, by bus, a little bit of cycling and a bit of walking. With a family, particularly with 2 younger children, not so sure about that. That might tip the balance to a more immediate kind of purchase of a car, particularly if we get the money through from our house sale, which is still kind of in process. And to wrap up then, I was thinking about, what I'd take for granted, and I'd become so used to driving the IONIQ Electric, and it was so enjoyable and so great and so convenient. I was driving it as much as I could, basically. Almost every trip I had to make, I just did by that car because it was so convenient. The range was, what I needed and so on. I'd kind of forgotten about the fact that having a car like that was a bit of an outlier experience for me. That was very not normal, very atypical. And most of my life I've had other kind of transport mixes. And it's been very rare periods where I've been entirely reliant on a car. And I think one of the things that's missing from my entire kind of transport choices, transport modes portfolio over time, if you can think about it like that, is cycling. Not since the mid-80s, where I was into kind of BMXing with the whole BMX craze, did I spend much time on a bicycle. And now the fact that you can combine a bicycle with some of the kind of electric car characteristics of the electric motors on bikes, to get that kind of cycling experience with maybe a bit more range and a bit more comfort and convenience, that it's not such a kind of arduous physical thing for someone who's out of shape like me. I think that's why I'm kind of so obsessed with it, and why I've mentioned it now in quite a few videos, and why I'm still keen to do more testing and more kind of searching out of what options they are, because I find it quite exciting, I realise. And the things that I'm most interested in, actually, the kind of, four-wheel electric bikes like the biohybrid and other things, it's just such a shame that they don't exist yet, because it just seems like kind of the perfect thing that I have in my mind, but they're just not here yet, which is just like, meh. So anyway, but I've been looking at these speed pedelec electric bikes. They can go up to, I think, about 40 miles an hour. There are special regulations around them. They have to have lights on all day. You need to have personal liability insurance. You must wear a helmet, which you should do anyway, but you have to. And you're not allowed to transport luggage or people. So that sounds like great for a lot of fun and getting around very quick, but I wouldn't be able to put my son on the back in a kind of transporter seat. So, and you can't drag anything. You can't drag any cargo trailers or anything. So if I do get an electric bike, it's going to be one of the ones that's kind of capped at a lower speed. Or who knows, maybe we'll even end up getting an electric bike for me and one for my wife that we use together. We kind of swap over, and we can have one for kind of longer adventures and trips around the area. And the scenery and everything is great, and the cycle paths just go tens of kilometers straight on and on and on and on. Hopefully there'll be more exciting electric bike, electric trike, electric quadricycle options at some point, covered, uncovered, whatever. But the family coming is going to be a real milestone, and we'll see what that does to my choices to either do a quick kind of rental of an electric car for a month to work out if we've got the charging network to support that, or even maybe a bigger purchase of something like a Tesla. Once we have some funds to do that, if we do manage to get funds to do that, we'll see. Or maybe a second-hand purchase. I don't know. So to wrap up, I am kind of I'm certainly missing driving an electric car, the physical, tangible kind of experience of it. When I rented the Zoes, I realized I liked that. That was an enjoyable thing, the joy of driving an electric car. I'm missing that. For me, individually, personally, I'm not missing the convenience so much, because it's fairly easy to get around by public transport. But I think, family coming, that might tip the balance. So we'll see. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens on that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me, and bye for now.